YouTube, so my name is Erin Mabry. I'm a makeup artist based out of the DMV area, and today we're going to talk about makeup. We're actually going to talk about the restart of my fitness journey and some things I wish I knew before I even really started the fitness journey. So, quick background, I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible. February, started working out because I feel like I was at my heaviest. I was at like 145 pound wise, and I didn't like it. Worked out. Not efficiently, but I tried. March, pandemic is here, full swing. We all get out of work. Animal Crossing comes out. I spend a lot of time on the couch playing Animal Crossing. Not really a lot of time working out. April comes, I'm like, okay, I spent entirely too much time playing Animal Crossing. Need to work out. Start doing things like Chloe King's workouts, and not really change a problem. Eating or things like that. June comes along, I discover Rachel DeLeon's workout programs, and I joined her bikini, the 2.0 version challenge program thing and bob, whatever, that gave you, at-home workout options, gym workout options, and it also gave you macros, calories, blah, 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 blah. Great tool, great program, loving it. But then, come last month, I actually caught the Rona, and that put a halt to all of that. Like, I couldn't breathe, I could barely get out of bed, like it was such an issue that I had to completely stop everything that I was doing, and I felt like crap. Like, not even, I'm not gonna say it was the worst of my life that I've ever felt, because I had a whole stomach ordeal a couple years ago that I discovered, thanks to doing keto, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Wasn't caused by it, let me just throw that out there, but it did lead me to discover it. But yeah, so didn't feel like it wasn't as bad as that, but it was still pretty dang blank bad. So I had to stop, and I'm not gonna say all my progress went out the window because I still feel like I look pretty good. Now, granted, I have on high waist pants, and if I pull them down, like, there's some fat there still, but like, it's nothing. I'm better than where I was, even though I've been out of commission for 3 weeks, and I'm not super flexing right now. Like, come on, relax. Okay, yeah, this is, I'm still like, yeah, now I'm relaxed, but like, my obliques are still a little visible. I'm not gonna sit here and say I have abs because I don't even really have abs when I'm flexing. So yeah, had to take a break from working out and eating and everything else, and just kind of focus on breathing and getting through life. So here we are. Tomorrow I actually start a new program from Rachel, her 8-week, and I figured this would be a good time to vlog about the starts, or well, the restart, I guess, and just some things that I wish I had known. So the way this is going to go for this video is I'm going to talk about, the things that I wish I knew before I started my fitness journey in general, like what I wish I knew back in February that would have probably given me more progress now. But I'm still happy, and I'm happy to make these mistakes so I can share about what I've learned and so on and so forth. So moving right into it, thing number one is don't let the scale rule your life. So when I was doing keto, and I had to stop, not because I think it's bad or because my body reacted, well, I guess my body did kind of react negatively to it because I found out I have a stomach thing, because turns out I need complex carbs, or I need like pasta and bread and rice to suck up extra acid in my stomach because there's a hole in there. Yeah, it's as painful as it sounds. I didn't know I even had it until I had cut those out. Nothing was there to absorb the acid, and I was in such an immense amount of pain on a day-to-day basis and in and out of the hospital. It sucked. Wouldn't have known that though had I not done keto. So I'm low-key glad I started, so I was more aware of the issues that were happening internally. We were able to figure all that out. But yeah, when I was starting keto, the biggest thing everybody was saying was, don't rely on that scale too heavily. The scale can mess you up. That number can mess up your mind, because you could be doing great all week, see the scale and think, oh my God, I didn't make progress. But you did make progress. You walked a little longer than you were normally able to. Maybe you were able to lift a little bit heavier. Maybe you cooked, twice this week instead of the 0 times that you did last week. That's all still progress. And you need to reward yourself for that. Give yourself a pat on the back for that. Because even if that scale didn't move, you still made progress, and do not let that scale tell you otherwise. Measurements though became, and aside from like measurements and the things I just mentioned, like being able to do things longer, cooking more, eating healthier, like those accomplishments, measurements became a great source of me really tracking my progress. So like today I took my measurements. I'm at 32 for bust, 27 for waist, 38 for hips. And I take my measurements every single week, and I've been doing that since the quarantine started, and this is how I track, because I only weigh myself once a week, and that's on Sundays. Measure myself once a week, same thing, just on Sundays. Sometimes I don't weigh myself at all, because it's no longer relevant to my goals and what I want. My goal is not necessarily to lose weight, it is to gain muscle at this point, because you want to tone up. I think muscular women are beautiful. I think a well-toned woman is gorgeous, but I also think all women are gorgeous. Like, every shape of woman that God gave to mankind, I appreciate, okay? I love women. I think they're beautiful. And yes, that means you too, queen. So, anyway, I think measurements are a great way to track your progress, because sometimes that scale won't move, but your waist will get a little smaller. Or your butt got a little bigger. Even if the scale didn't say so, because the scale's not going to tell you that kind of thing. So I feel like buying some measuring tape and measuring yourself is a great way of keeping track and keeping progress without mentally hurting yourself with the scale and making you feel like you didn't do anything, you didn't make any progress, because that's not true. You put in the effort, you did the work, you're making progress, even if the scale doesn't say so. Getting off that soapbox for a second, because I have feelings. You're like, oh, I made like a small accomplishment. No, there are no small accomplishments. You got up and you did it. That's an accomplishment. Be proud of that, please. Next up, things I wish I knew. Nutrition matters so much. You can work out all you want, but if your nutrition is crap, it ain't gonna matter for sugar honey iced tea. It does not. So, for reference of life, when I was in college, I was in school full-time, worked full-time, worked part-time. Don't know how I survived. Couldn't do it now. My body would probably be like, sis, you thought, and I would probably wind up in the hospital or something like that. But anyway, eating was a use of time and a waste of time to me. So I got used to eating once a day, and that kind of just stuck with me, because I also worked retail and in childcare. So I ate what I ate, and it was just that. And that stuck with me. So even now at 27, I'm consistently eating once a day, even when I feel like I know I shouldn't be. And I've gotten better at that in the past couple of weeks, which I'm so proud of myself for. But it was hard to get out of that and come out of that eating once a day. Like, it was never to lose weight. It was just because, well, I don't have time. Or sometimes it was because I don't have the money. Like, I want 10 for 10 getting cup noodles from Safeway, because I don't have the money for literally anything else. And past that situation now, praise the Lord, but it did leave some negative effects on how I viewed food and my relationship with food, which, health is all related to that. So I was not losing weight because my body was eating the minimum and holding on to every single thing that I ate for dear life. Like, hey sis, I need what you're giving me, but you're still not giving me enough. So we're not going to lose, we're just going to hold on to what we got here. And that's why even back in February when I was working out, the scale wasn't really moving, because yeah, I was working out, but I wasn't eating to support the working out. So my body was like, no, we're not doing that. You're going to hold on to this. So there is this thing called being at a caloric surplus. And it's when you're eating above maintenance calories. It's for people that are trying to gain weight or gain muscle. Caloric maintenance, what you should be eating a day calorie-wise, based on, your age, weight. I think height comes into it. I don't know. Google it. But it's the calories that you should be eating on a daily basis, just to maintain what you are at. And there's being at a caloric deficit, and that's eating below that maintenance number. So the issue was, yes, I was below that maintenance number, but I was never even hitting that maintenance number. My body was just used to being in constant deficit, so it was making no changes. And it was amazing, because when I upped my nutrition because of Rachel's program, I was on like 1950 calories a day, 211 grams of carbs, like 141 or 161 of protein, and I forgot my fats. Those are your macronutrients, by the way: carbs, fats, protein. You need all three. Like, there's no getting around it. You do need all three in varying amounts. And there are plenty of calculators to help you figure out what you need of what, but you need all three. It was amazing, because it's like I wasn't losing weight per se, but even with 211 grams of carbs, I'm still slimming down. This was changing. Like, this was flatter. My butt was still getting bigger. Like, I was making progress. People are like, well, cut carbs. And not always. Don't do that. Just listen to your body. So So nutrition really matters depending on your goals. So if you're trying to gain muscle, eat in a surplus. If you're trying to lose weight, be in a deficit. But if you've never been at maintenance, eat at maintenance for a while so your body gets used to it, and then do one or the other depending on what your goals are. Because back to, if you've always been in a deficit, your body's not really going to notice you being in a deficit. And if you're eating out, if you're working out, you need to fuel your workouts, and you do that with food, with good food. So my other thing with working out now too is don't do random crash diets. Don't do things that you're not going to be able to stick to. I don't really like to say that I'm dieting. I'm just making better food choices. And that means that doesn't mean I'm having baked chicken all the time. No, I was having a maple honey glazed chicken the other week. It was delicious. And stir fry and cheat meals and keto cracked chicken. I just add carbs to it because in fact I gotta hit that carb count. I have a smoothie every morning. I have a protein smoothie every morning for breakfast. Like, eating right doesn't mean eating boring. You just have to do a little bit more research to find recipes that work for you, but still get you to that point of, hitting your targets. Because another thing that was a point is that hitting your protein is so important. And it's funny because my husband has always stressed this. He's like, you have to hit your protein. And my husband has done mixed martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all sorts of things for years now. So he hangs out with a lot of very muscular people, including some bodybuilders. And their biggest piece of advice is hit your protein. Like, find a way to always hit your protein no matter what. So, like, I drink a protein smoothie in the morning. And I think it's called like Ideal Lean or Ideal Fit. It's one of them. They let you order samples, and that's why I got it, because I ordered samples first, could taste to see what I liked, and then ordered the big size because I hate, like, protein powder isn't delicious by nature. It's just not. So, but there are some good ones if you find them. So, like, those I like. And there's one I got from my Target called, like, ISO. I'll just put the name up here and the thing in the description box because I don't know. But, like, it tastes delicious. It tastes like Kool-Aid or something. And I like that because I like sweets. But anyway, you've got to get your protein in. So you do that in a way that is most comfortable and feasible for you. So maybe protein powder, protein smoothies, protein bars, protein brownies, protein whatever, protein pancakes. Like, there's so many options. But, like, even on, like, Rachel does a Q&A on her Facebook group, and people ask, well, I didn't hit I hit my calories today. What's the most important macro that I hit? Her answer is always undoubtedly protein, because it supports your muscle building process, it supports your metabolism, it supports your weight loss. Like, you gotta hit your protein. No questions asked, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You gotta hit your protein. What else? So, your body type, third point. There are different body types, and it does matter based on which one you are in order to work out properly and eat properly for your body type. So I'm not gonna go into super specifics on this, just I'll give like a general overview, but there are so many other people that explain it better because it's their job and they've done the extensive research on it. But one of them is, her name is Gauge Girl Training. She has a YouTube channel, and I know she does like personal consultations and stuff like that too. So I really like her channel because she explains things very clearly. But there's there's the endomorph, the ectomorph, and the mesomorph. And essentially, and you can be mixtures of these body types too. One body type is one that is very lean, has a hard time putting on fat, maybe even a hard time putting on muscle. Another one has an easier time putting on muscle or losing weight, and it's the middle type between the other two, because the other one has an easier time gaining weight, unfortunately. Maybe has a harder time losing it. They're typically a little rounder in terms of shapes, like maybe like an apple-shaped body or a pear-shaped body. And this type of person can also sometimes have a slight intolerance to carbs, depending on the type of carb. So knowing your body type is important, because what somebody does to lose or gain weight that is, a little heavier already and has a hard time losing the weight is going to be different versus from the person that is really lean and can't keep weight on. Like, they're going to work out completely different. They're going to have completely separate cardio routines. They're going to need to eat differently. Like, the way that they work out is going to look different. And it needs to, because their bodies are different. So I recommend that you look into like, what is my body type? Like I said, Gauge Girl Training has a whole bunch of videos on it, and she has videos on like what you should eat and how you should work out for your body type. And granted, it's not a one size fits all kind of thing, but some of those points do hit well for certain people. So like my body type, I feel like I was the one that gains, has a little trouble losing weight, but then my husband was like, I disagree. He's like, I feel like you're the kind that it's a little easier for you to gain muscle as long as you put in the work. And I kind of sort of agree with him now that I've started to work out more. And I'm like, oh yeah, there goes my thighs. Guess you're right. So knowing your body type can help, because it also may keep you from making as many mistakes. Like if you're somebody that's really has a hard time gaining weight, but you want to gain weight and you want to gain muscle, but you're really lean, you're not going to do as much cardio as someone who has trouble losing weight. Like you're not, because your body needs to keep that fat opposed to burning that fat a little bit more. So that's, like I said, we're gonna keep that point super short, because there are so many videos that explain it better than I can. So like I said, Gauge Girl Training, look her up. If she has videos on it, they're great. They're short. Do the thing. What else? Oh, cardio is not enough, depending on your goals. So, and honestly, I do feel like every goal cardio isn't enough, depending on how you want to look afterwards. Like if you want to lose weight, like let's say you were like 300 pounds, 400 pounds, you can do just running or walking and you will lose weight, of course. Opposed to somebody like me, where I'm 140, I can walk 3 miles every day and I'm probably going to lose only but so much weight. Never mind the fact that I average about that in a day anyway. I'm not going to lose but so much weight doing that, because the person that's 340, 400 pounds, they have more weight to lose. Cardio is great for burning fat, but one, you have to do it consistently, and consistency is key. You cannot work out twice a week and expect immaculate results, or fast results for that matter. You can't be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna, go walk down the block real quick. Takes 20 minutes and do that twice a week, and I'll have a body like J-Lo or Beyonce in no time. It's not how that works. It's not how it's going to work either. Lifting weights is important, at least a little bit of weight training or resistance training even. And I feel like as women, and this is a hill I will die on, I will die on this hill and sing this song to the heavens. I feel like society-wise across the world, women are made to think that being muscular or lifting weights is a bad thing. It is a masculine thing. It's not feminine, it's not cute, it's not X, Y, and Z. And I'm just like, how is it possible that as a woman, the body that you're not in is not feminine? Even if it's got tone or it's well developed. Like, I don't get it. Like, especially if you're a woman that is completely and totally clean and doesn't do steroids. Like, if you're doing steroids, yeah, your body is gonna take on a more quote-unquote muscular, bulky look, because at that point you are injecting yourself with testosterone, so your body is going to make changes. But if you're just a woman and you're in the gym working out, lifting weights, you're not all of a sudden going to lose your figure, lose your curves, lose your everything just because you are lifting some weights. And it's like, I was guilty of thinking this way too when I first started working out, but I don't want to lift weights because I'm not going to get boxy, I don't want to get bulky. And I'm like, my husband would be like, no, that's not going to happen. You would have to lift an insane amount and eat an insane amount for you to look the way that you think you're going to look by lifting weights. And yeah, he's right. He's 1,000% correct about that. It's like there's a woman, her name is Massey Arias, and I think she's absolutely stunning. And she's another person that does fitness stuff on the internet. She has her own training programs. And I want to do hers after I do Rachel's, because I do like Rachel's a lot, and I at least have, like I said, I did the bikini one with her. I have to restart it in a little bit. I'm about to do the her 8-week program, and I'm going to do one called Train Like Me with her, so I have at least 2 more that I'm going to do. And I think I'll try Massey's programs, but like they're both absolutely beautiful women with slightly different body types. I feel like I do feel like Massey is a little bit more less bikini shaped than Rachel. Like she's less hourglass shaped than Rachel is. There's nothing wrong with that. Whereas Rachel is, she's a bikini competitor, so she is that curvy, boom, 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 like kind of woman. And they are both absolutely gorgeous, but neither of them are masculine or anything of the sort, despite lifting weights. So I feel like lifting weights is important to the fitness journey. And I know for me, I see progress so much faster when I lift weights, which is why I like going to the gym. I hate going by myself, but I love going to the gym for the reason of I make progress so much faster than when I don't. So don't be afraid of the weights. Cardio will help you lose the weight, but it's like to tone up your body, to tone up that skin and everything else. Lift the weights, do some resistance training. Don't be scared. You got this. I believe in you. You will be beautiful no matter what. And last but not least, I think, yeah, this is my last point. Cutting out food groups is not necessary. And I think I kind of sort of made this point with nutrition, but you don't have to cut out carbs. And I feel like carbs get this rep for being a bad guy when they're really not. Your body needs them to convert into energy. You should be mindful of the types of carbs they're taking in. So, you know, making brown rice instead of white rice, wheat bread instead of, you know, white bread. Eating more sweet potatoes instead of regular potatoes. Being mindful of your cereals and making sure that they have all the proper grains and things like that for your body to absorb the nutrients out of. But I feel like carbs get a bad rep when they shouldn't. Like when I was in my best shape, and that was for, like I said, my Tharja cosplay, which I don't have a good final picture for, which I hate because I love that cosplay so much and I worked my butt off. Like it was the one costume I made completely from scratch, on top of I worked my butt off physically to be in proper shape for that. For me, don't have a good picture, but I had abs and I had a well-defined stomach. But guess what? I was still eating carbs. This girl's not going to stop eating a potato a day in her life. Like, don't ask me to not eat potatoes or sweet potatoes. Just don't. Even when I was doing keto, I would, like, yeah, you're technically not low carb, but I would be low carb and have my sweet potato for breakfast, because that was my carbs for the day. Sweet potato for breakfast, because your body still needs it. You don't have to cut out food groups in order to be successful in your journey. Now, if you feel like you are food sensitive, like if you feel like you might be, you know, sensitive to gluten or sensitive to certain type of carbs, definitely go see and consult your doctor, because, you know, you should do that. But don't be like, oh, well, I'm losing weight, so I have to cut carbs. No, you don't. Eat at a caloric deficit. If you've been overeating, eat at a caloric maintenance for a little bit, then eat at a deficit. Do your cardio more than twice a week. Like, really, you have to be very consistent about this. Like, you gotta work out 3, 4, 5 times a week. I work out 6 days a week. I have 1 rest day. I do cardio about 3 to 4 times a week, but I lift weights every day. Like, I'm doing something every single day. I'm working a different body part every single day. You've got to be consistent to see the results that you want to see. You don't necessarily have to cut out food or make life unenjoyable. Oh, actually, this will be my last point. I lied. You don't have to cut out food to make life unenjoyable, but you have to be consistent with the work that you're putting in. Last but not least, for an actuality, is cheat. As weird as it sounds, and I know it sounds very strange, cheat. Have your cheat meal once a week or once every other week, if you are the type of person that can handle it. Because I know some people are like, nope, I can't do it, because if I cheat once, then I'm going to binge, so I might as well just be straight all the way through. Me, I work my quote-unquote my sweet treats into my macros. Like, I have Skinny Cow ice cream sandwiches, and I have Yasso bars, and I have Bark Thins. Those are my sweets. Because I'm a big ice cream person. Like, I love ice cream more than I like cake and things like that. So Skinny Cows are my godsend. I will work those in my macros on a daily basis if need be. But you are less likely to binge if you know that Saturday is your rest day or Sunday is your rest day, and you've had a long hard week and you've done everything that you should, and you've worked out and you've been eating right. Have the ice cream, have the cake, have the meal out with friends that's less than healthy. It's okay. And it keeps you, for me, having that reward at the end of the week keeps me honest the rest of the week, because it gives me something to look forward to. But also, I'm less likely to binge if I have it once a week, opposed to, okay, I've gone 3 weeks without anything sweet. Let me have this, let me go ahead and have this chocolate bar. Oh, that was good. I can go ahead and get another and another and another. And I feel like, and I've seen people cheat more or binge when they go for a longer period of time without eating properly than when they do. So I'm like, take once a week. Be like, you know what? Saturday, I'm gonna go to Fridays with my friends. And I'm gonna have my cheat meal then. I'm gonna be good all week. Friday will be my cheat day. Have a cheat day. Maybe once a week, twice a week. Not twice a week. Once, a week. Once every other week. Whatever works best for you and your body. Like, I see people that are like, nope, I know that ice cream can't be my cheat meal because I will binge it. And I'm like, I respect you for knowing that about yourself and taking that time to do some deep reflection, because it's hard. Like, you have to, I feel like when you start the journey of fitness and working out, so on and so forth, you do have to do a lot of thinking about you and yourself internally, and what are your triggers, and what is your relationship to food, and what is your relationship to fitness. Because I know so many people that are like, they binge eat when they're sad. I don't binge eat when I'm sad. I shop when I'm sad. My bank account is in more danger than my stomach. Because it just makes me feel good when I get like a new package or something. So I may shop a lot during the pandemic. I don't know. Gotta be me trying to deal with everything happening in the world. Who's to say? Not me. But I know that about myself. Like, I'm not the kind of person that ever turned to food as a comfort item, because food's never been comforting to me. Like, don't get me wrong, I love food. I love to eat. But I've never used it as a coping mechanism. But I know that there are people that do use it as a coping mechanism. Like, if people pass, or they've had a hard day at work, or they just want to cuss somebody out but didn't, they'll go and they'll binge, or they'll eat the wrong things. So when you know that about yourself, and you can say, you know what, I use food to do X, Y, and Z for X, Y, and Z, I feel like it makes it easier, because it makes it, you can stop and curb the behavior, or work on lessening the behavior and find something else to do as an alternative. So have the cheat meal once a week. Do the thing. But also take the time out and self-reflect and see what it is that you can be doing differently over what you're already doing, and why you have a relationship with food or working out or X, Y, and Z that you have with why you have the relationship you have with what you have now, if that makes any sense. Anyway, this is not as long as I wanted to, so I'm gonna go sit on my couch now and wait for it to cool down some more so I can take my dog to the dog park. But anyway, until next time, later YouTube.